This is Skyllus here with part 2, along with
Arctic. What's up, y'all?
Texas rubbing off on you?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is part 2 of our discussion about the man-up rule and execution of Warzone in Gears 3.
Yeah, this particular video we're going to focus on talking about some of our history with the rule. As some of you guys know that have been following the channel for quite some time, Skyllus and I used to work at a LAN center called eBash, and the center focused a lot on Gears of War gameplay. Obviously, they hired Gears of War pro players, and during a sprint when Gears of War 2 first came out, we were helping develop rules to kind of negate host and camping. Right, so we actually tested a rule set, basically the same thing as the man-up rule that might go into effect, or I guess is going into effect on Gears of War 3 public rooms.
Yeah, it was kind of an alternative to doing the 7-round rule that MLG did, where even if both teams drew, it would only play to go 7 rounds max until you had a winner. So instead, we decided that whichever team had more people would win the round. So we call it the man-up rule, and ran, I think, 2 or 3 tournaments with it.
Yeah, I mean,
so we have some experience, and we've won both. We won a couple of those tournaments as well.
2, 3, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, the response on it is kind of mixed. I think a lot of people aren't used to that, but I think the way we ran it was probably the optimal settings, in my personal opinion, for Gears of War 3. One of the things I wanted to kind of mention about this rule is that there's no objective in execution of Warzone. You're not fighting to blow up a bomb, or you're not planting a bomb to blow up an object. You are killing people.
Well, ultimately the objective is the power weapons, but when they don't respawn after the initial push, there's no objective.
Right. I mean, it's so for me, I mean, a lot of people, and we've mentioned this to some of the staff at Epic when they were in the beta phase, you know, an objective game type would work wonders. They wouldn't even need a man-up rule, because if you accomplish the objective, you'd win the game, and you wouldn't have to worry about people camping, because the campers would lose, ultimately.
Yep.
So, you know, that's one thing I wanted to kind of throw out there, is that if there was a bomb game type, you planted and blew up a locust hive, I don't know what the hell it would be, but it would be a lot better for the style of one life, one kill type of setting. So, I mean, that's something to think about. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Maybe Gears of War 4, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
have a Counter-Strike mode.
And like I said, the guys at Epic, they seem to be kind of receptive to the idea. They didn't like say, "Oh, that was a shitty idea," but you know, it's just not. It is what it is right now. So, I think a lot of people in public matches, as we mentioned in part 1, are probably going to be upset about this rule.
Yeah, I mean, just to use an example, I don't know, it's so... I can't even argue for it in any way for public matches, really. I mean, it's like, if you go in with a group of your buddies, and you just want to, say, troll the other team, make them all angry, literally all you'd have to do is run in a group, kill one dude who's off on his own, and then go run back into your spawn and watch a doorway.
I guarantee that's how gameplay is going to end up being.
Oh, I'm sure some people will do it.
2 months from now? 2 months from the game releasing?
On top of that, like, it makes you play so defensive when you can't even go get a weapon. Like, if the other team has a boom shot, like, what's your incentive to push if it's even numbers?
Right. And I think this is one of those things, kind of like the camping. They didn't realize that it was going to happen, but if you
the spawn camping?
Yeah, the spawn camping, they didn't realize it was going to happen based off of map design. But inherently, if there was a TDM, and anyone could have told you this that played Gears of War 1, Gears of War 2, when you have one spawn that you're coming out of,
everyone's going to sit outside of it.
Everyone's going to sit outside of it, and there's going to be a spawn camp. That's like, to me, that's like 101. It's common knowledge.
And when you have 2 spawns and 5 people, there's enough to split off so you can both cover one.
So I think this is one of those things that, and I don't fault them in any way because they're trying out new stuff. This is one of the things that they don't realize it's not a very good idea. Like, they have the right mindset, I think, but in actual application, when it's put to use, people are going to abuse the hell out of it, and it's going to be a big time problem.
I mean, it's been annoying anytime you lose a round like that, like still being alive, having fought to live, and then you go and lose because you're 2v3 or something. And what about kills in the last 30 seconds? Like, what if there's a flurry of kills and then it just ends.
Right.
Because one person has one more life and they just ran away the last 10 seconds.
Right.
And I've done that before with the man-up rule. As a matter of fact, I actually won this one tournament because I ran out of the spawn on War Machine. Actually, it was Gal 1 we used it for one tournament in Gal 1.
Really?
I believe so. Or no, maybe that was... whatever. But yeah, it's possible.
I remember Gal 1.
It's possible scrambling. I remember scrambling during the Avalanche quite a few times during these tournaments. So it was like sitting there 3v2 and they push you, so you just run away for 10 seconds and get the round win.
And one of the things with Gears of War 2 where it made it better to have man-up rule is that the map design was shitty. So there's just no way around that.
Inherently campy.
I'm not trying to talk shit about Epic or anything like that, but the map designs, a lot of them were kind of campy. They weren't great. And they weren't even as... I don't feel like any map was as good as the beta maps. I mean, and that's... Maybe Trenches. Okay, Trenches... Throw Trenches out. Trenches was in its own category of awful, but... as far as I'm concerned, the beta maps were better than any map that I played on Gears of War 2. So, I mean, just... That's something to think about as well, so...
So I think we're in agreement that public matches are kind of screwed by this entirely.
Completely. I mean, there's no way around it. I think, like I said, it's just bad.
Let's switch over to the competitive side, because I've seen a long thread, I think 9 pages on Gal Nation and another 5 pages on Gears Up. And the competitive community is discussing this, and a lot of people are like panicking, sky is falling, etc., etc. So I feel like it's not warranted, because with weapons respawning, I think that it can work. I think that weapons respawning can also work the other way. Like, I think that both of them would be perfectly fine. I just don't think that the man-up rule is the death of competitive play for any reason, really.
No, not at all. I mean, and some of those same guys that are playing know how the man-up rule works because they played in GG circuit tournaments, so they know it's not an awful idea. And application, it works. It's just, I mean, I don't know why they're so concerned about it, to be honest. I mean, it's just a different way to play. I mean, it's
the biggest argument I keep seeing is that one team is going to get a kill and then go back and camp, which is a mentality that would have applied to Gears 2. It would have applied to Gears 3 if they didn't give us this option for the weapon spawning. And if for whatever reason that doesn't make it into the game, despite the fact they said it would, then we're screwed and I can go ahead and say the sky is falling and everything.
Right.
But with the weapon spawning, if a team gets a kill and runs back, then you have frags, you have incendiaries, you have inks, you have boom, you have digger, you have torque bow, respawning on the map after a minute of them camping. And then you're going to have either the same amount of weapons as them or more.
Right. So they're putting themselves at a disadvantage by sitting back in their spawn and running away and camping.
Right.
Because they're giving up all of that map control. So, you know, I just, like I said, in application for a lot of this, we have to wait and see. But I think that from the competitive standpoint, we won't know what the implications are for another, 2 months until after the game is released.
Yeah, it's going to take a while for everyone to get adjusted to playing differently.
Same thing with the public rooms. We won't know exactly what it's going to be like until...
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be bad, but we won't know how bad until...
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think that in matches where it's just individuals, I don't think it'll be too bad because you can't get everyone on the same page that easy. But at the same time, it's hard for me to help people get better when the thing I can tell them they can do best is just sit back. Like,
once you get a kill, just run back to your spawn. Don't worry about anything else on the map.
And then if for whatever reason your team goes down one, you have to push. Like, just run at them. It doesn't matter what weapons they have. You have to kill them.
It's like tug of war.
You can't go get a weapon because nothing's spawning. Don't worry about it. You just have to push their boom shot because it's 2v3. You got this. I have faith in you. Go, my young Padawan.
I think that's some sound advice.
That's Gal Lessons, episode 14, right there in soundbite form. You're welcome.
Man-up rule. Episode 14. But
it's me 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not too much else that I can really think of that's going to negatively affect it from that standpoint. I think we pretty much covered everything.
All I can say is if you're a competitive player, looking to play GB, looking to play competitive, think about it from a Gears 3 perspective, and think about it from the weapons respawning perspective. Don't think about it from Gal 2's perspective. Otherwise, you're going to think that it's horrible when it's not really that bad.
Right. Give it a chance.
Just give it a chance. Man up.
Man up and give it a chance.
Alright, that's it.
Later, guys.
Later.